The city's asleep. You know, it's in these quiet hours that the real stories surface. And tonight, we've got a cold case on the desk. It's about a group of voices. Voices that used to be a Saturday night ritual. Then, poof, seemed like they just vanished into the static. But here's the thing about a good mystery. People don't just disappear. Tonight, we're going to find out exactly where they went.
So this is the big question, isn't it? For millions of people, these performers were like family, showing up every week. And then the main broadcast ended. The stage went dark. Or did it? Our investigation starts right now.
All right, here are our persons of interest. The whole crew. The core ensemble, the voices, the actors, that amazing band, and of course, the man who started it all. Every single one of these names holds a piece of the puzzle. To really see what's going on, we have to follow each and every trail. Okay, let's crack open the first file. We're calling this one The Voices. These were the harmonies, the melodies that really gave the show its heart. Let's see where their trails lead us today. Our trail kicks off with Heather Moss. She's got this incredible jazz-trained voice, but with deep roots in folk and Americana. Now, as the youngest of the core group, her story is our way into this whole mystery. So Moss's file, it basically reveals she's living this incredible double life. On one hand, she's a key member of the super famous folk group, the Wailing Jennies. But on the other, she's also the most consistent musical partner for Keillor's new projects. She's a huge part of this reunion tour. So she didn't leave the fold, she just got a much bigger territory. All right, our next file takes us to Christine Diaz-Jalanardo, and she is a totally different kind of talent. I mean, if Heather Mass is the soul of American folk, Christine is all about the power and polish of the New York stage. Man, her dossier reads like a highlight reel of New York theater. We're talking Carnegie Hall, City Center, and she's got a new musical coming up in 2025. She's not just some guest singer, she is world-class talent, bringing that Broadway firepower back for the reunion shows. It just goes to show you this operation pulls from the best of the best from all corners of the music world. And now for File 2. We're calling it The Sound. And no, this isn't about music. This is about the feel of the show itself, the comedy, the characters, the screech of a car tire, all brought to life by the so-called Royal Academy of Radio Actors. We'll open this file with Sue Scott. She was a veteran of the show, started way back in 1992, and her trail reveals this really fascinating twist. She went from being a voice for hire to becoming the one creating the whole show. So Sue Scott, she didn't just sit around waiting for the phone to ring. No way. She built her own thing. Her podcast, Island of Discarded Women, is all about amplifying female voices through storytelling. She's directing audiobooks, she's acting in new plays. See, she wasn't just a cog in the old machine. She went out and started building a new one, connecting with a whole new network of people while still coming back for the reunion. And now, a huge piece of this puzzle, Fred Newman. This guy is not just a voice actor. He is a sound artist, the man who could literally create entire worlds with nothing but his mouth. His role in all this, it's absolutely unique. And this quote right here, this gets to the heart of why he's so crucial. It says his skill isn't some sound effect they add later. It's a live, on-the-spot performance. That spontaneity is what makes those classic sketches feel so real and what makes them pretty much impossible to do without him. And his file, wow, it goes way beyond just the radio show. His sound work is in movies like Gremlins and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He was the voice of Skeeter on Doug. Think about that. Fred Newman's sounds are woven into the very fabric of pop culture from the end of the 20th century. The last dossier in this particular file belongs to Tim Russell. You know him, the man of 1,000 voices, the master of impersonations, from U.S. presidents to the shady characters in Guy Noir's office. And in 2023, after this long, incredible career, he got his big moment. A real crowning achievement. Yep, he was inducted into the Minnesota Broadcasters Hall of Fame. That pretty much solidifies his status as a radio giant in the region. And this isn't just about his work on one show. It's about a whole lifetime in broadcasting, plus roles for huge directors like the Coen brothers and Robert Altman. You see, these actors, they have deep, deep roots. Okay, this brings us to our final file for the night, the masterminds. We're talking about the architects behind the whole operation, the music, the logistics, the vision. Let's start with the musical architect himself, Richard Dworsky. For 23 years, he was the show's music director, the guy at the piano who could steer the Guy's all-star shoe band through pretty much any style of music at a moment's notice. And what an engine room he leads. I mean, these are all top-tier musicians. You got Richard Crean, the mandolin and fiddle player. He founded his own band, New Shoes. You got Chris Siebold, a legendary jazz fusion guitarist in Chicago with his band Kick the Cat. And the bassist, Larry Cahoot, has credits on over 100 albums. They're not just a backing band, they're absolute masters of their craft.
And that brings us, finally, to the mastermind himself, Garrison Keillor. Now, in his 80s, his file shows this really deliberate two-track operation. He's continuing his own solo work, but at the same time, he's carefully curating the legacy of the show that made him a household name. And then we see it, the timeline. This is the clue that ties all these different threads together. A massive, nationwide 50th anniversary tour. This is the grand operation. This is the whole shebang. They didn't disappear. They just regrouped. And Keillor's solo shows are running right alongside it, but this reunion tour, this is what brings the whole gang back together.
So, we've looked at the files, we've followed all the leads. I think it's time to close this case. What's the final verdict on what happened to the cast of A Prairie Home Companion?
The verdict is this: they evolved. That's it. They went from being part of a single weekly broadcast backed by a big institution to becoming this resilient, independent ecosystem. They're not tied to just one place anymore. They all connect for these big national tours, but they are absolutely thriving on their own projects.
And this final evidence board, it just lays it all out. Look at this. Podcasts, Hall of Fame awards, touring bands, new books. This is not a group that faded away. They diversified. You know, the radio show wasn't the end for them. It was a launch pad.
So yeah, case closed. The real mystery wasn't where they went. It was never about that. The real story is how a single, shared, creative past can become the fuel for a dozen different, vibrant, and independent futures. And that, right there, that's the enduring news from Lake Wobegon.